everyone, welcome to Season 4, Episode 10 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Oh yeah, I like piggies.
Who doesn't like piggies?
Especially if they're wearing suits on my boxer shorts.
You don't have piggy boxer shorts?
I wish I did.
Yeah, now that you see them?
I mean, Lambert was killing it in the piggy boxer shorts.
Real classy.
Oh, what a stud muffin he is.
We saw The Hunted.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Let's go with general thoughts. I was pleasantly surprised, personally.
Where are you?
I was. I didn't hate this movie.
Yeah?
I'm not saying it's gonna go like rocketing up in my list, but it's not low at all.
No, it's not low. It kind of came up meh for me.
Yeah?
It had all the pieces there for me. Like, yeah. And then like the action came in, I'm like, oh. Well,
I agree.
I feel like
although there's moments of it that I really dig too with it.
And I think I think Paul's character is like, I think we could have just done without him entirely. Like, I would have preferred if this movie had concentrated on Kinjo.
I don't know, because I almost kind of like the idea of like this dude is like totally out of his elements. If anything, I kind of disliked where they try to train him a little bit at the end. But I always like how he is like completely outmatched the entire time. And
here's a big problem with this movie.
He just gets lucky a lot.
Here's a big problem with this movie. You can't have Christopher Lambert in your movie pretending not know how to use a samurai sword. I can't handle that. I'm sorry. Not after two Highlanders at this point, and a third Highlander movie coming out in the same year as this movie. You can't have Christopher Lambert in your movie like, ooh, what's a sword?
Like, he's somewhat figuring it out towards the end.
Hey, listen, he's very good in this movie. I love Christopher Lambert. It's very charming
as hell. Yeah.
But it's just still, it's like, oh, come on. It would be like if you had Arnold Schwarzenegger gun, like, what's this, a gun? I don't like these.
I get it for the story that they're writing.
I understand.
And I think they do a really good job with it, to be honest.
No, but it can't be Christopher Lambert doing this.
It can't be. It is a little unsettling.
And I don't have a problem with him in this movie. It's just like, you can't do that. Not that. No. Have him be on like the fencing team or something like that. He's got to know how to handle a sword. This is at
least some version of the sword, so he's not complete inept or something. Or because he's pretty again out of his element. But there's also like stuff like the bullet train stuff is a lot of fun, and it's like, wow, this movie like walked or crawled so Bullet Train could run with it like later on in recent history. Like there's some good stuff in this stuff in that part. Yeah, or good call. Or in Wolverine, the Wolverine, right? Yeah,
that's right. Say it right.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure I corrected myself.
Yeah,
yes,
respect the Mangold.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So again, like I was going into this movie thinking this is gonna be rough, right? Mm-hmm. And then I came out in the end being like, this was pretty watchable. Like,
it's watchable. I just when I watch it, I'm like, this should have been so much better. Like this is like there. Like it was like
it's so close,
but not there.
Like, and it is noticeable when it has those moments where like, like it's just this is not great, but there's elements here that could be like really cool.
It's like having one of your favorite home cooked meals, but you get it out instead of how you make it at home. So it's like all the pieces are there, but it doesn't taste quite right.
The ingredients are all there, but not in the right proportions.
Yeah, it's like, no. This isn't the way I want it.
Not quite hitting where it could be.
Yeah.
But I think probably too it does it so well as you see the potential in this movie. Like it's like it's a better version as a whole than the Challenger. You know, from season 1, right?
Yeah.
Which also had like similar aspects.
That movie had better
to
filmmaking, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm okay.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's see how we rate things out. Our hero is Paul Racine, played by Christopher Lambert, who is visiting Japan on business. He's in the computer chip game, but doesn't seem passionate about it. But he makes a good living.
Yeah.
We didn't
They
actually,
oddly make it an American businessman too.
I've forgotten that whole introduction. We didn't actually say what the movie was, what it was about.
Oh, you're right.
This is my pick, right?
Yes.
All right. So we saw The Hunted. An American businessman visiting Nagoya, Japan, meets a woman in a hotel bar. Returning to a room, 3 ninjas kill her and wound him, but he sees the ninja boss's face. Now he's the prime target of a dangerous ninja cult. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm allowed
And
to
some
read the
people
IMDb
come in
now.
to try to
This
help
is awesome.
them that have ulterior motives too.
Right.
But yeah,
So-
that's the gist.
So my man Paul, after a hard day of, I don't know,
Closing a
Japan.
big deal.
Yeah.
Because his friends want to go out and party. His coworkers want to go out and party. And he's kind of like, I don't really want to do that.
He wants to have a quiet drink at the hotel bar.
Yeah, and then go to bed early because he apparently has to do something in the morning because they're not leaving.
I don't know.
So, I don't know. Whatever.
I saw this movie longer ago than you did.
Yeah, he says he has to do something in the morning. He has to get up early for something in the morning, but not implying they're leaving or anything. And he just wants a quiet
Doesn't
drink.
matter.
But
it's
it
fine.
doesn't matter. Exactly.
So he meets Karina, drinking her sorrows away. The two hook up and have some lovely Ofuro tub sex, but she's marked for execution, which is carried out by the legendary ninja cult leader Kinjo.
Yes.
Paul miraculously survives and is now the only living man to survive an encounter with Kinjo, which makes Paul the Hunted.
I like it. I like the way he delivered.
Yeah, thank you. I love. We already mentioned this, but like the first time I am like slapping my knee, like yes, is Karina stripping Paul down when they get back to his room or her room.
Yeah.
And we see his boxer shorts, and she just starts laughing. She's like, "Piggies." It's like, "Oh yeah, I like piggies."
He seems like I'm kind of embarrassed about it, but then she's like, "Yeah, I like piggies too." And it's like,
Yeah.
"All right, yeah,
Let's have some hot tub sex. Yeah, man.
yeah, sure, good answer."
I'm gonna cover the actual assault in action. So
That's fair.
Just skipping ahead. Did Paul wake up during surgery?
I don't know, because the gist is in the attack, he does get I forget the proper name for it, but ninja starred.
I guess the shuriken. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but I guess they're all like laced with stuff and poisoned and stuff like that. So he's got like poison running through his system. So it's like this, like, is he really seeing stuff in a spiritual way, or is he tripping because he's still pretty poisoned up and stuff? Is kind of like the gist they're going with a lot of this movie. So it's kind of hard to always tell.
Yeah. At one point, he's getting rebandaged by Takedo's wife, and she lets him in about like, oh, a small amount of the poison is a hallucinogen.
Yeah.
And taking small doses, you can see into the world of the spirits. And Paul's like, well, maybe I'll use it next time I go to a Grateful Dead concert. Which would be the most surreal way to run into Christopher Lambert. And probably the only way I would enjoy a Grateful Dead concert.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. But it was funny. It was a good line. Like,
I enjoyed it.
There's
Lambert is
several
good in this movie,
lines.
and he's funny. And
yes.
he's a good leading man, and I think he was... Just can't have him in this movie not knowing how to use a sword. I can't handle it. I can't. It's my hang-up. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's your weird hang-up, man. I think
He's the Highlander.
Like, he's doing a really good job of
It's Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. He knows how to use a sword.
Yeah, I know.
Samurai sword, specifically.
Don't get me wrong. I love Highlander. You know I do. It's just it's not what this character is, and he does a really good job at this character. And there's so much like humor that he brings to it so well. He did it in Mortal Kombat, and here he is doing it again in these like, not exactly the same sort of sarcasm, but he still ends up delivering a line or two there throughout. You're like, you can't help but at least smirk about it. Like, it's just a good time.
Well, one of my favorite parts, Paul escaping from the ninjas at the hospital when they attack him later. He limps into a pachinko parlor, and a little girl helps him into a phone booth so he can call the Takedas, who had tipped him off. I'm like, this is going to happen. You're going to need our help.
Yeah.
And the ninja has followed him in. And Paul clocks him when he sees and when he walks in, and he tries to make a giant scene to cause a distraction, and he starts ranting about the evils of gambling. Don't you know what gambling does to you? It steals your soul. Gambling causes impotence.
And you got it too, like shortly after that, right? Or kind of in the same stuff. Like this little girl, like oddly is like helping him out, and he's so sweet with this little girl.
Stunned that they cooked the little girl out of the movie. I'm like, this is gonna be the movie, right? These two, this is great. This little thing, and then he gives her like a little pat on the head and a little kiss, and walks her away. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, but this dynamic was good. I liked.
But it made sense. He's like, he didn't want her to be there to begin with. It was kind of like, I'm forced into this cab with her, but then like clearly like get this girl away. Like she doesn't need to be involved in any of this. Is like, I like this practical reaction from like a person with like good intentions. Like I like this.
It was just like oh, we're not doing this movie cliche. Oh, we're. I was just remembering like Sean Connery in Last Crusade. What about the boat? We're not taking the boat. Like that's how I felt when the little girl went away.
Yeah.
You like that, huh?
I do.
Let's see. I love when he gets to the secret island, and Paul throws on the hakama and goes for a stroll and runs into the drunken blacksmith Oshima, who cons Paul into carrying the heavy ore for him.
What another fun relationship! Because all of a sudden it quickly turns into, I'm angered. Like all of a sudden, like he's talking to Sean Connery in The Highlander again. Like all of a sudden it's that kind of like frustration, anger of it, and it's so much fun.
It can be funny when sometimes people are angry, Tim.
Because he's trying to be so polite at first.
Well, that's what's so funny too. Because like this guy had major surgery like less than a week ago.
Yeah, he was like bleeding through everything for like the first chunk of the movie.
That's exactly right. And it's so funny. Like he just like grabs one bucket to help the guy out, and then the guy's like, "Oh, you should grab this other bucket too." And then he's like, "Oh, this is really hard." Like, "Oh, well then grab the staff that I had it on. No, you're just carrying everything for me." And he's like, "What does he think I am, a donkey?" And then Oshima takes Paul back to his shop, and Paul thinks he's being offered water and takes like a nice big swig, and he coughs it up like, "Oh my god, that's the worst sake." And then they get drunk together, and like Paul is literally just now his donkey, just doing everything for Oshima.
Yeah, and they check back in with him later, and they're like an old married couple. All of a sudden, he's like cursing him at
he's
him,
trying to sweep up, and he's like just still making a mess. Like, fine, then I won't do anything.
But then he like shows him stuff, and then he like has this weird appreciation for him at the same time. Like it really enjoyed almost every relationship this guy builds with everybody. Mm-hmm. Like it's hard to dislike the character.
Let's see. Yeah, they have Oshima notices Paul playing with a sword, and Oshima tries to show him the right way to how to hold a sword. And Paul thinks he's nuts. Then Oshima demonstrates by throwing an apple in the air and slicing it in half with the method Oshima was showing him. And then they share the apple, and Paul asks him to teach him how to use a sword. So you got a montage of Oshima building a new sword for Takeda, and Oshima teaching Paul how to use a samurai sword, which is just funny. It just is, this whole thing. But I love, as much as I have the issues with this, I love watching Lambert like twirl the sword and make noises like I did as a kid pretending to be him.
Right. He's so excited that he's doing it.
Whoosh, whoosh. Like, it's literally what you and I did when we played swords.
Oh, for sure.
Pretending to be the Highlander.
Yeah.
I liked when Paul figures out that Takeda is the one that tipped off Kinjo about the train. Because Takeda desperately wants the fight. And Paul is outraged about all the innocent lives lost and vows to leave. Takeda demands that Paul stay, but Paul doesn't want to see Takeda's school of kids get killed by professional assassins.
So yeah, because it's very clear that they're all pretty young.
Yeah, and Paul like sucker punches Takeda. Not bad for a Gaijin, huh? So yeah, and then the last thing I want to say about Paul, I loved Paul refusing to leave and pushes Oshima on the boat to safety because Oshima was going to sneak him away before the big battle. And it's like, if I learned anything from Karina, it's to accept your fate with courage, so I'm going to try. And then Oshima's all bummed out because he was going to have Paul row the boat for him. I love Oshima. But like, Paul... it's a little weird for me with it being Christopher Lambert. First off, with the sword stuff, it bothers me. It just does. I won't. I'm not gonna majorly pick him for that, but I don't know.
It's your own baggage.
I don't find him the most interesting character in the movie. I just connected way more with Kinjo, and like what's going. I found him more complex. Like I've seen this version of Paul's character a million times. I just have. I
think
So I thought it was just like I gave it just fine. I gave him a 2.5.
Why was he in this lonely place to begin with? Why was he connecting so much with this girl to start with? Like, there's definitely some characterization that was just missing from this. And I think Christopher Lambert definitely did some heavy lifting to just make this character freaking likable. I went 3 though.
Okay, so we're not far off.
Yeah, we're not. At all. It's just hard not to like the character just because of Lambert, and like he just seems such a morally high character. Never does anything that's annoying or obnoxious, and kind of like I like how they always kind of make it make sense to why he ends up surviving. You know what I mean? Like I always enjoyed a lot of that.
Except for that ending. He gets hit with another shuriken at the end of the movie, and it's like, and he's still fine. I'm like, okay, is this guy just immune now? Is that what we're saying?
He's built up a tolerance.
Or did that one just magically not have? Or is that? Or
maybe. I don't know. Or maybe there's a spiritual connection where.
Was that the one shuriken they forgot to poison? I don't. It's like, come on.
Who knows? But I don't know.
He survived one. We're doing another one.
Otherwise, I don't know.
He's shuriken proof? Is that what we're saying?
There's a lot there to show why he ends up living though throughout.
Right,
the movie,
I know.
Besides
but
that, so
that was the fun part. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, 3.
Okay. Villain. Our villain is the legendary Mikado ninja cult leader Kinjo.
I probably have some problems and some baggage with this one because I enjoy this actor so much. Mm-hmm. I probably inflate it just for that alone.
Okay.
Dude can deliver a freaking line.
Yeah, well, my man John Lone is a very good actor. And it does bother me that he's Chinese. It just does. It's just like there's a lot of Chinese actors in this movie. Like, yeah, I can tell the difference. That's a famous Chinese actor. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
we're having to play
he's playing ninja. Japanese.
Yeah. Although I think in the trailer voiceover they say, "Oh, my mother was from China." I'm like, all right.
I didn't watch the trailer.
I watched the trailer. I was like, oh yeah, that's not in the movie.
Yeah.
But
they had to explain something.
It's like, it's okay, guys. I know.
Not
from the island.
It's bizarre. You're right.
I still like him. So I was like,
yeah. So one of those things, kind of just like, I like this guy so much, though. So whatever.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only Chinese man playing a Japanese. I'm like, come on.
As is normal in Hollywood.
General. I know. I know. It's I have to let it go. Especially since this movie was predominantly filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah. Cheaper.
Yeah. That's why we went to that island that definitely looked like every X-Files episode. No one who sees his face lives until his last assassination job. Paul Racine survives. Now he'll stop at nothing to kill Paul.
Yeah, he's going into retirement. He's like telling his buddies or whatever, this is it, guys. The last one.
No one but you has seen my face. I am known by reputation. It's cool. I don't know. Kinjo is a weird duck for me in this movie. He's the most interesting character. As a result of that, there is an honorable side to him. He seems taken with Karina's bravery and feels guilty about killing her.
Yeah, because he gets kind of like almost reluctantly pushed into, because of your honor that you clearly are basically showing, I'm going to show my face, even though that is like basically
my one big
rule
no-no.
number one not to do.
Yeah. And
he ends up doing it, and it immediately bites him for doing it. But there's definitely plenty of other moments throughout the movie where he kind of shows this kind of honor thing. Mm-hmm. But then there's plenty of other moments where he's like,
yeah, I know. That's where I'm like,
this guy's pretty sus. Like I
said, this was his last job. He just wants to retire to his secret ninja clan base, have threesomes with his lady friend Junko and his bather Sumi.
Who seems more like slave, just not okay
Sumi?
situation. Yeah.
I don't know what her deal is. Probably you're right, considering their main deal is they like to kidnap local babies and raise them to be ninjas.
Yeah.
The original First Order stormtroopers.
Especially since she seems kind of like, and then like the lady just shoves him into her or her into him, and she's like, "This seems forced, and I don't like any of this." Yeah.
But he's convinced all this bad luck he's having trying to kill Paul is because of this murder of Karina, and he's even more convinced of it when he finds out why he was hired to kill her.
And that was a cool scene.
I know, and I'm like, I wanted this to be the movie. Like, this is good. I like this stuff.
Right, really play with the morality here, and his code is just completely getting messed up.
Yeah. But then at the end, at Takeda's Island, he just evolves into a mustache-twirling bad guy where he's just like...
He just goes full-on villain.
And I'm like, where did the complexity go? I liked that.
I agree with you. That's the biggest problem with this character. It just doesn't seem to know where it wants to go with it. And then it's so weird that he's like, "Oh, I'll take care of this myself." And then his lady's like, "No, let us take care of it." Okay. And then you're so amazing. And then like afterwards,
when
like, I should have done it myself. She was such an idiot.
Let me do this thing. Here's a threesome. And you're like, all right, whatever you say.
But it's like it's weird to have someone with such a resolve, like such a like this is my code, right? To be like, okay, sure, you guys take care of it, and then immediately like trash them when it doesn't work out well.
So like I got two lines I really want to highlight for him too. Not heaven nor hell can stop me from killing a man. The ghost who will not die. Who is hunting whom, I wonder. I liked it. I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything, but I enjoyed it. And then I left.
It's his delivery.
I love Kinjo arriving at the island. He shows his face to Takeda and says he's actually a messenger named Sato. And while a boat of a clown car of a boat that he arrived in has like ninjas popping out of it left and right, like flanking everybody. Car, and they get into a giant fight. And they at one point. They get two of them like grab Takeda's arms, and the sword gets tossed away. And he's like, "Idiot samurai! I don't want to fight for honor. I fight to win. Kill him." And I was like, "Yes, that's good. I like that."
I did too. I wrote a whole research paper in college on samurai and ninja.
Samurai versus ninja, who will win?
Well. Because I feel like
that's kind of what I thought this movie was going to be. It was. It reminded me of Underworld as I'm watching it. I'm like, this is werewolves versus vamp. This is Underworld.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Well, because like I feel like most of Hollywood gets it completely wrong.
Sure.
Right. Like the samurai ninja thing is a total class thing. Right. Samurai is the upper class. Ninja is the poor people. Like they had all those weapons to be distance fighters to stay away from samurai. They were stealth because they could not win on a one-on-one
Samurai's got the
fight.
big armor and everything. Yeah.
Right. They're wealthy to train exclusively. So a one-on-one battle, especially with close quarters weapons, is not a good situation for a ninja. That's why like you want the stealth, you want the distance and all this kind of stuff. So this is like honestly it's like one of the few times in a Hollywood type movie that I saw like this is like oddly closer to reality.
Right, like I'm laughing.
And it's not realistic at all, but I mean, this is like the closest we've ever gotten. Like
you're right. I'm laughing at the boat clown car with all the ninjas popping up, but that's exactly how a ninja should be fighting, and he should be cheating. He's like, right. No. I don't care about the honor. That's your nonsense. I'm here to win.
Yeah, you're a Bushido. That's not a ninja thing. That's a samurai thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But he still has. But he's Japanese, so he still has an honor code that he just can't shake.
Sure.
But all in all, I'm like, it's a little all over the place. I just wanted more, but I gave him a 3 overall.
I did too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're still pretty dead on here so far. 0.5 point difference so far.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where we are with this one. I have a lot to say, but at the same time, I don't have a high score for this next one because it's just like quick cuts. We're in that Conan.
It depends on who's doing the action in this movie.
So
because when your man is doing it, when your boy is doing it,
my boy Kinjo,
it goes up a level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, totally. When other people are doing it, not as much.
When Takeda's there, it's like he's efficient. It's like it's over in seconds.
Like because there's such a better, I don't know what's the right word for it. There's such a better not quickness to it, but you know what I mean. Like the rhythm's better. Like it's not slow. As much as I love our villain in this movie, not all his action was great, especially early on in the movie.
I agree. Hold on. Before we get into that, before we get into any of the action, I have a question for you, Tim.
Okay.
I want you to give me odds. I am in a sword fight with another person. I have decided.
You are.
I am fighting this other person.
Okay.
I have decided to lift the sword over my head and charge. What are my odds of survival?
Well, what we learned from this movie
from every movie. It's like, but this movie does it a million times. And I'm like, come on.
A lot. They do. You're right. They do it a lot.
Stop.
They do.
It's like he lifts his arms up. Yep, that's a belly slice. He's done in seconds.
Over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Oh, god damn it. That drove me nuts. Anyway.
No, that's a fair point. Definitely a fair point.
It drives me. It's like, okay, I keep seeing this in movies all the time, but this movie just like, yeah, we're just going to keep doing it. It's like, this is our go-to move. It's like, great. I love this for me. So the action kind of starts with Karina's execution murder. Karina gets decapitated, but we only see blood on the wall. Paul tried to stop it, but is stabbed with a sword in the gut, his throat cut, and hit with a poison shuriken in the hand for his troubles. He survives.
He somehow... Okay, so the way I...
Still alive.
The way I can justify that is he called down and called for help before all that happened. So I feel like people got to him really fast. So I feel like I can be like, oh, that makes sense then. I
have more questions about the poison now afterwards. This is my issue, this thing. It's like, all right, how did he survive the poison? He's just one of those lucky guys? Okay. And then it happens a second time. Okay, hold on. Can we check the efficacy of this poison?
It seemed like they kind of, like the doctor there kind of figured some stuff out. So I don't know. Maybe they were able to help him out with the poison. Well, then
that doctor is dead. So I don't know what's going to happen to him on that island.
It's a good point.
Thank you. Would have been the funniest thing at the end of the credits. We just see him keel over while he's carrying her. Like, oh, right, poison.
Like a Kill Bill Volume 2 thing.
Right, yeah. Kinjo accuses the two guys who was with him at the assassination that attacked Paul of treachery for letting Paul live after seeing Kinjo's face. Yeah. He stabs one dude and says he won't let him die quickly, and he'll be buried up to his neck and rot in the sun. He offers the other one a chance to pick up his sword and fight him. If he kills him, then everything is his. Kinjo gives him a quick swipe across the belly, then hits him a couple times with the blunt of his blade, and then takes his sword. And then Kinjo throws his own sword away and gives the dude his sword back, invites him to come at me, bro. And then Kinjo easily defeats him again. And then orders his number two, my dude Ryuma, who is Tatsu in the first two Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah, he is.
To make them suffer. I saw that guy. I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, it is fantastic. He's such an intimidating dude.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, and I love everything from our villain here in this moment, but the action's not great. Like, it's just not. No, it's slow.
You're absolutely. That's the thing. I'm going to describe lots of cool things, but it's actually not fun to watch visually.
It was a bummer. It was a bummer moment for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, oh wow, that all sounded intimidating and cool. Yeah, it could have been, but that's not the execution. Yeah. Ninjas across the street attack the stakeout. Detective Watakara has placed on Paul for his protection and kills two cops quickly, but not quietly.
No. They raise quite a ruckus. Like, these are like not very good ninjas.
Sloppy crew.
Like, they do like stealthily get into their situation, but then it's like, we're blowing this up like immediately, almost in every situation in the movie.
Yeah, these new age ninjas, they don't know how to ninja. So what occurs is the idea of a secret farm town that kidnaps children and trains them to be ninjas is ridiculous. Fair point. and
just like all Americans are cowboys or whatever kind of reference he makes, which I thought was nice.
Right.
But then he dies and he goes, I was wrong.
He's like, well, yeah, no ninja can get past a police officer holding a modern gun. And then boom, Wanakura gets an arrow through his neck, which I'm like, oh, hey, here we go. Paul's doctor yells and warns the cops, and he gets stabbed through the back for his troubles. With his dying breath, Wanakura says, maybe I was wrong. Drops his gun. He's like, maybe.
That's where he gets his little snub nose.
Yeah. Paul grabs the gun. Two ninjas easily take out the two guards guarding Paul's room. Paul tosses the doctor's stool out the window, then hides. One ninja comes in, another goes to check on a noise. Paul, hiding behind the door, kills the ninja who walked in with 2 shots.
Well, I like this because the ninja completely is gonna kill him. He's dead. But the ninja fucked up on, I guess, the spatial awareness in the dark and hits the door.
That's right.
And that's the only reason why he lives.
Oh.
Which, again, I like this, like the explain away of how he's able to survive.
He certainly Forrest Gumps his way through this movie.
Exactly. He's very lucky through most of this. Which I like. I like that.
I have no problem with any of that. It's just like...
Yeah.
But that's like the one guy in Hollywood I know can handle a samurai sword. Come on, man. It's the one guy.
This is a hang-up issue, but all right.
100% is. And Ninja embarrassingly takes out 3-4 guards with his Kusaragima. Paul sneaks up behind, but gets a shuriken thrown at him. So Paul ducks and hides. Ninja goes looking, but Paul sneaked out of the hospital. Ninjas are grumpy. He got away. And the ninjas have found Paul and the Takedas right before boarding the bullet train. I love the ninjas using golf bags to hide their swords.
In every single scene before they attack, there's always, like, I think the police thing, their janitor stuff is where they're pulling all their stuff out, right? And then the bullet train thing, it's like golf thing. So it's like every time they have like some ridiculous kind of disguise type thing to hide all their stuff.
I don't know what the hell the Takeda's bags are supposed to be, but it's like, no, this is actually a professional samurai sword carrier for Japan. Like, this is what it looked like. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. Anyway, Junko is now leading the ninjas on the bullet train attack. First, she sneaks her way to the conductor cockpit as a snack girl and murders the pilot while the co-pilot gets taken out by others. Takedas get Paul to the snack compartment, and Miko warns the passenger to beat it to the back of the train because trouble is coming. Yeah. Passengers start moving their butts when Sensei Takeda whips out his sword.
I love the look. The visual is great. Everybody's like freaking out running, and he's just like, I'm a badass.
Yeah, he starts cutting down the tables to make more fighting room, and I'm like, oh baby, stuff's gonna happen. Here we go.
Love it.
I was lied to. Ninjas.
I disagree with that part, but okay.
Well, there wasn't like a big action scene in that room that's like kind of worthy of it. The build up, I felt.
I don't know. I think when you're thinking of the era and everything, like it's pretty good. I mean, especially since it's not. I mean, I know Chinese here, but not Jackie Chan or anything quite like that. Like I thought it was the smoothness, the way that dude moved. I thought, especially when he's attacking and getting fought with multiple people, was really entertaining. Like there was a few times where I was like, oh. That was nice. Like, oh, cool. Like I thought this was the bullet train scene or scenes of all the action is the best action of the whole movie. Like by
100%. By 100%. I you know what else kills me? You haven't seen the movie Kill yet, right? It's this Indian action movie that came out this year.
No.
Like almost, the whole thing like takes place on a train. It's like Snowpiercer, another great train action movie. Bullet Train is very good. The Wolverine. So it's like I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, this is worse than all of those. So where am I? Yeah. So Sensei then starts cutting down tables, making more fighting. Ninjas dress up like Fremen in Dune because this is their daytime ninja costumes. I don't know. And Junko's number 2 orders that everyone from the cockpit to their prey is to be murdered. No witnesses.
No witnesses. They got to send a message.
Won't let Paul use the crowd to escape again. Junko says we'll fill the train with blood and send a message to the world. No one escapes the Mikado. Sensei with his sword promises to warn the passengers to run up as he heads off to fight the ninjas. So like the ninjas are all in the cockpit going back, and Sensei is at the beverage
dining-ish car. Yeah,
he's at the snack car, and he's going
towards
forward
the back, going forward.
So he's trying to grab everybody as he's going by, like, get out, sword man coming. And you hear a bunch of people screaming and running away from the front of the train. It's cool.
It is.
So yeah, Morgan's again. I'm like, here we go. And Miko stays behind, armed with her bow and arrow, just like ready to go. Shit goes into slow motion though as he approaches.
Again, I think with his stuff, it's actually pretty good. I'm impressed by the quickness with some of it. And I especially like too where he like ducks into, I can't tell if it was like a bathroom or a changing room or a shower or something, and he pops out from the curtain.
It was
a telephone.
Yeah.
So it's like a curtain though for some odd reason in this telephone thing.
Yeah, probably making a phone call.
Whatever. Not much vocal sound prevention there, but regardless, how he pops out from the curtain and takes on the two dudes was slick, and I enjoyed that scene.
First he goes in, he kills a ninja, and then he starts walking away, ready for them to chase him down.
Yeah,
and it's cool. Lots of blood at that first kill, and he's walking away like a badass. So and two ninjas toss a few shurikens, and Sensei just beats them away with the sword. Like, psh, psh. I was like, all right, here we go. And Sensei keeps walking away, inviting to be chased. And then Sensei slices open the floor panel underneath a door, causing it to lock while the ninjas have to kick down.
Yeah.
That's when Sensei hides in the telephone curtain, and he just waits for them to come by. He's like, oh, got two easy ones real quick. Let's see. Junko then declares he's mine. She gets two short swords, which, not very good with them, though. She's kind of shit. He kills her real easily.
But that ends.
And then she cuts off her own face.
Yes, because
no one will see my face, samurai.
Yeah, her face is revealed, and I guess she's got the same rules.
Yeah.
As our villain here, so she just you don't see it, but they cut away. But they show that she's about to take her face off, and you're just like, whoa, all right,
yeah,
awesome.
Sensei makes it back to the snack bar. He does this floor panel trick again, which honestly is cool every time. I do like that.
It's just badass when just throws the sword in, and it's cool.
Like, wow, that's metal on metal. That's metal. Mako kills the first ninja that comes to the door with her bow and arrow. Then four guys come rushing in. The first one jumps Mako, and the next three are easily dispatched by Sensei. Paul pulls his gun and tries to help Mako, but Sensei grabs his arm and says, "No guns." And then Paul helplessly and accidentally shoots a window. Sensei then throws the gun through the window, and Sensei challenges the remaining ninjas, who he thinks is Kinjo. Sensei takes him out with ease and asks Paul to identify him, but it's not Kinjo.
They go through cart trying to see if any of them, because he has
no idea Takedo gets a little panicky, unmasking every ninja that he's killed. And he's like, "Is that him? Is that him? Is that him?" And Paul is just upset by all the gore, and he's like, "What the hell is this? I've finally done it. I've stepped over the edge." I'm like, that's kind of cool, except he doesn't pick up on that again until the very end, where he's like, perhaps I've gone too far. So yeah, I liked that scene. I just would have liked to have seen more variety in the kills. Maybe a little bit more back and forth with the sword fighting, but it's he's on expert. All these guys are rookies.
He's just taking people out
real fast.
Yeah, and but I like that it's not. I don't think he's slow, to be honest. I really don't.
No.
And I think the way he is taking people out is still pretty dang entertaining. It's not like he's just doing roundhouse kick. You know what I mean? I still think
it's not as bad as Chuck Norris. No,
it's really not. And I think it's still pretty entertaining, and I think it's pretty smooth how he goes from dodging a sword to slicing one guy to then slicing back the guy who just dodged.
It is too smooth. It is just zero issues. And I'm like,
you want more Jackie Chan
or even Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Wow, my boy, you're just giving props to. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Kinjo goes undercover as a homeless guy collecting cardboard and takes out 4 guys with one knife.
Yeah.
One of them goes right to the guy's head and lots of whacks with a cane. He goes to visit the Yakuza boss Nomura, who put the hit on Karina, wanting to know why he put the hit on her. Turns out Karina was sex trafficked at birth and was bought by Nomura as his personal sex slave. She begged him for freedom when she denied, and then demanded her freedom. He promised he'd kill her if she left. Nomura felt she owed him, since the people he bought her from were worse to her than he was, and he gave her nice clothes and things. So that made the sex slave stuff fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Kinjo is disgusted by every answer he gets, and he slowly cuts him to death. It's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Man, it's like you wish they did play with this more, because again, he does have such a moral, basically, this is why I'm cursed. This is why all this is happening. I can see why
John Lone was attracted to this part.
Yeah, how many, it was basically I don't think I can wash my hands clean enough of this. It's basically the vibe you get. I don't think he said that words precisely, but that's the gist you're getting from it.
Right, this was so beneath me. I can't believe my skills went to this. It's pathetic. Takeda decides to try Paul out on sword training. Paul is like, we were just killing time, man, because he's caught Shiba or whatever.
But he dishonored him. He didn't follow proper protocol. He touched my sword. No one's supposed to touch the sword, which we'll get into more, I guess, kind of later.
Paul's like, we're just killing time. It's like, time no die, only man. Paul holds the sword with his left hand, and Takeda smacks it out. Right hand. In Japan, no left hand. And then he's like, didn't that drunk teach you anything? Let's find out. Nobody does a better concentrating face than Lambert. I believe he is fully concentrating when he puts that face on.
But I also love the almost irrational confidence you get from him too. Again, the let's find out. All right. You should be dead. There's no way you should have any sort of confidence going in there. But he still plays with it, and it's fun.
Yeah, Takeda takes him out very easily.
Yeah.
And is walking away, and Paul insists the lesson is not over. I still have much to learn. And he takes a swipe at Takedo's sheath sword. He's like, don't muck me, Racine. Paul does a little better the second time when he changes his grip to the one Oshima taught him. But Takeda still wins, and Paul boasts that the old drunk taught him something. And Takeda says, he could have killed you 10 times, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, so why don't you? You want to see if I can... You want to do it? I can see it in your eyes. And he's like, get this strange thing away from me. The Takeda character kind of just, I don't know, never really works for me. Then we get to the ninja attack. Lots of samurai ninjas die. Takeda's wife gets an arrow in the back. Lots more samurai die. Only one holding his own is Takeda.
Some people falling. But yeah. Some fire going.
Right. He eventually gets sneak attacked and subdued. Mako gets up and kills one of the guys that was subduing Takeda. And then Takeda kills the other one with one of the ninja's swords.
Yeah, it basically goes back and forth with them just taking people out.
Right, and then
between our villain and our character, should we say?
Right, and Takeda finally takes note of all the dead bodies and apologizes to a wife who he tries to fix up a little and then demands that she live. It starts to rain because it's a movie.
Yeah,
and Takeda begins to challenge Kinjo. It's just an okay duel. I was really disappointed in it.
I wish it could have been better. I guess the more significant thing was he held his own enough there and actually severely injures our villain.
Yeah, well, Kinjo gets Takeda in the gut at the exact same time that Takeda gets Kinjo in the leg.
Yeah.
Before dying, Takeda says he'll be waiting for him in hell. And then Kinjo just stabs him to death.
Yeah.
And that's when Kinjo starts to come for Miko. And she fires an arrow at him, which he catches in the air, which is like,
yeah.
He keeps coming for her, and he pulls a dagger, she pulls a dagger, and he swipes it away. And when he's about to kill her, Kinjo suddenly sees Miko as Karina.
Yeah.
And freezes, but then he wakes up and he goes for the kill, but Paul stops him with the sword that he found and stabs him in the shoulder. Looking for me?
Yeah.
So since Paul stabbed him in the right shoulder, that forces Kinjo... the right shoulder forces Kinjo to use a sword with his left hand. Left hand, maybe I got a chance.
Yeah.
Kinjo attacks, swinging wildly, and hits a paper lantern, which catches on fire, which is cool. Thought that was going to play into something more, but it's raining, so no.
No, but it just kind of adds to his injuries. I think it just adds to he actually has a shot at maybe somehow winning this to where he's completely outmatched.
Paul kind of outthinks him, notices that a wooden structure above them is creaking loud, so while Kinjo is standing below it, Paul makes him cut at the support beam, and the platform falls on Kinjo. Paul grabs...
Still not dead.
Paul grabs Kinjo's sword, which he dropped. Miko begs Paul to break Kinjo's sword because it's a living symbol of the Mikado. Once it's broken, they're finished. Paul breaks the sword over some rocks, and then, no surprise, Kinjo jumps up behind him with a plank of wood. Goes swinging at Paul. So now we get some hand-to-hand combat, which is not great.
No, it's not great. That's why I was making that face. It's like, here's where it starts to really goes off the rails.
Sloppy punches. Eventually, Paul gets a hold of a rock and beats Kinjo over the head with it. And then more punches, and Kinjo falls, but gets back up. Like, don't you ever give up? Kinjo, a bloody mess, tosses a shuriken at Paul, gets him in the chest, which he does not die from. And then Miko grabs Takeda's fallen sword, tosses it at Kinjo, who ducks, but is caught by Paul, who then chops off Kinjo's head. End of action.
Which doesn't look great.
I can't give this more than a 2.
Wow.
I can't.
Just refuse to do it.
I can't do it. It's all, a lot of it's just all yawn.
I mean, again, we're not too far off. So I went 2.5.
Oh, but it's fine.
So.
Supporting characters.
There was some fun stuff though. Again, I love that bullet train stuff.
It's so I could have I could have envisioned that bullet train sequence being off the charts amazing. And I have so many different examples of great bullet train fight sequences.
Yeah, but come on, dude, that'd be of modern era. Kind of give it some credit. Man.
You're right. So you got Joan Chen playing Karina, whose murder starts the drama of the movie.
Sure.
I wish to die slowly and with much pain, so I remember what it is to be alive.
Yeah.
That was a badass thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly a woman who is I'm dead no matter what, so I'm gonna live life here at the end.
Yeah, all I've known is my life isn't shit anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
Calling your executioner a coward and a slave is a baller move too.
Her line where he asks her what her profession is, what her job is.
Right.
And she's just I stand next to men and I drink. It's basically her line. It's it's such a cool line. It's, I don't know, I really liked it.
I like Joan Chen. She's a good actress. I've seen her in a bunch of things. Twin Peaks. She's great in Twin Peaks. We'll see her later this season again with Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd.
She and Judge Dredd? Oh. Now it's clicking now. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, it's clicking. That's cool.
I didn't say that, but okay.
No, she's a good actress, and I enjoy her.
No, it was a fun moment.
And she's good in this movie. You got Sensei Takeda, played by Yoshio Harada, is a descendant of an ancient samurai clan and has centuries-long beef with Kinjo and the Makeda ninja cult.
Family feud there, basically.
On the mainland, he teaches kendo, but he has a secret samurai island where he's training an army to fight against the Mikado. Sounds way cooler than the reality since his army is mostly kids.
Yeah, it looked like
middle
pretty
school
young
and
people.
up.
And also a lot of females, too.
Yeah, a surprising amount of females.
Yeah. Which is nice, yeah.
Shockingly evolved for a samurai.
It's
Since it's usually the conservative aristocracy, the land.
But you know what? He's a badass, and He's definitely a one-track, like
singularly focused
person. Yeah. Yes.
He will sacrifice anybody to achieve his goals of killing Kenjo.
Yeah, and so it's kind of hard to completely dislike him because he's just man, this guy's cool. Like, it's just I love how he's just taking dudes out, and it's kind of fun.
I was like, yeah, he has no problem using innocent people, like Paul, who he thinks is a dope. The cops seem really chill with Takeda.
Because you clearly don't. He doesn't even care. Like, at first, he's like, oh, he's already dead.
Yeah. At the hospital,
like
afterwards.
At the hospital, like he doesn't even give him anything that he ended up surviving. Like, he doesn't even care.
No,
he ends up surviving because then he's just back on. All right, I got an opening here to get the kill I want. So again, like it's such a, and he gets called out on it. Obviously, he's like
only by Paul.
Paul's
the only one who sees a problem with
correct.
This. Yeah. I was kind of stunned. Like the cops are just like cool with Takeda. I'm like, oh yeah, so you were killing all these people, huh? All right.
Well, in defense.
It's like we're not going to question him at all. We're just okay, cool.
Cool.
They at least took away his sword. He's like, yeah, got to take away your sword. It's evidence. And
but then again, you gotta love too how he's
I do
like,
love
no,
this.
sorry, I'm the only one who can touch my sword. And he's like, no, actually, we legitimately need it for evidence. So he literally destroys his sword.
He
and
slams it into the base of the
charges it.
train and then kicks it and breaks it. He's like, because he's the only one who can ever touch his sword. So it can no longer be a sword, and he's going to have to hand it over.
Right, and that's why he needs a new sword. And
no one touches
another
my sword
moment
but me.
of like, damn, that's cool.
It was cool. But I don't know. Honestly, I would have enjoyed it more. Like I said, we just didn't have Paul in this movie. And it's not a problem with, because I would have liked more fleshed out of this character. And like, just the dynamic between him and Kinjo is the most interesting thing for me in this movie. Paul
Kinda
being
like
there
both.
is just
I
like,
don't know.
it's fine.
Maybe it should be a mini-series.
I'd have watched it.
Then you have both characters.
Right. You have Miko, Takeda's wife. Nice lady.
It's about it, though.
Yeah.
She's not bad.
I forgot to write down who played her. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Yoko Shimada. Yeah, she's good.
She's good at what she's being asked to do, but like
she's great with a bow
other
and
than
arrow.
her just being a loyal wife.
Loves and respects her husband despite him being a lunatic.
Yeah.
Appreciate her getting
stand by his side regardless.
Appreciate her at least having Oshima cut Paul loose and escape the island before Kinjo arrives. She knows like this isn't actually cool. Paul doesn't deserve this, and like Takeda's like I don't care.
Yeah.
My favorite guy, Oshima.
Fights to the end too.
Right. Yeah. My favorite dude, Oshima, the drunken blacksmith, is a delight.
Yeah, he's funny.
There's another one like I could have done with the whole movie just this with him and Paul. Just wants to get his drink on and chill out and has no problem talking back to anyone, including Takeda.
Yeah.
He's a coward, but he's got a good heart. At the end of the movie, Miko says Takeda will rest easier now that Kinjo is dead. Paul picks Miko up and carrying her back to the castle. And then there's yelling in the distance, and it's Oshima in a samurai armor coming to help out. And he's like, it's no fun fishing alone. And he offers to help Miko carry Paul. He must have scared all the other ninja away. I love my dude.
No, he's fun.
So what'd you give supporting characters?
I gave it a 3.
Oh, I went 2.5.
I mean, everybody kind of did a good job. I get, some were light, like the wife. But I think that the drunken swordsman is so much fun. The Tanaka or whatever his name is,
Takeda,
is just such a badass, and so he's a lot of fun. I thought the woman in the beginning and what she was asked to do.
Here's my problem with the Takeda character. My main problem too.
Okay.
We don't actually really learn much about him from him or his interactions with people. It has to be explained from Miko.
But I think it makes sense to the kind of character he is.
But we could have had no. I don't need him to have a conversation explained to Paul. But we could have just had him and Miko have a scene where they talk about stuff.
I don't think he's going to be the guy that does that.
Probably right, but it still would have been nice for a movie for dramatic purposes to show Does he have any struggle with what's one more?
I think it makes sense. I think his struggle is he is clearly being called out and challenged on this stuff. And I think
but is
that
he actually
is his
struggling with any of it, or is he just completely ignoring? I don't know.
I mean, granted, you could go into this a lot better for sure. But I kind of understand the person where almost like, I'm so not going to talk about this kind of stuff, and this stuff stays within, and so this is what the wife's place is, basically.
You know what?
I kind of
would have been even fine with a scene, like a quick scene of like her trying to talk to him about it and him just shutting it down. That would have shown me something else. We don't get a lot of
that could have been
his
better,
point of view from him. So, it's thin. I gave it an overall score of a 10. So it's double digits. It lands right in the middle of highest possible score. It's 10.
I got it at 11.5.
Okay, yeah, we're not far off. So
which to me, I'm putting it over Money Train.
Interesting. All right. Wow.
I am
gonna tell Wesley Snipes about that, my friend Wesley. And he's gonna have some words for you.
Well, you know what? I just think there's so much.
You're never gonna smoke up with Woody Harrelson ever again, Tim. Not with that attitude.
Well, that's
no bongos for you.
Don't put that hate on me.
You put that hate on him. So,
you ready? What you said? Wait, what did you put it again?
I gave it a 10.
So where are you putting it with sudden death?
I'm gonna put this below sudden death.
Below sudden death. Wow. All right. So I have it at 6 and you have it at 8. Okay.
All right.
Wow.
So you ready to play America's favorite game?
Body mass alone.
Body mass alone.
I don't want to have conversations anymore about dudes' physiques.
Dennis,
and whether they can...
body mass alone.
That's what I was trying to avoid. A conversation about body mass.
Okay.
We missed last week. Do you want to do this for this movie first?
We'll do this movie first. We'll start off with Haunted. There's not a whole lot of body mass here.
Yeah, Joan Chen and Sumi Moda show the most skin in this movie. God bless them. Thank you for the nudity.
Well, you do get our hero in boxer shorts at Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert and John Lone show some bare chest in this movie. They got a little bit of beef, but not exactly bodybuilders either one.
Yeah, I went 1. Like I didn't.
I gave it a 2, just extra score for the nudity.
Wow. Does nudity go into this category? I guess.
I guess really it shouldn't, because we're here to just talk about like steroid use in action movies. But I still wanted to appreciate the nudity in a way, so I was like, yeah, here, an extra point in this meaningless category that doesn't add up to any scores.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't go to anybody's overall category, but I can appreciate that. It works for me. Okay,
that's my logic.
So,
Virtuosities.
We did forget Virtuosities body mass alone category, which is a shame because it actually has some body mass to it.
Highest score for the season, no doubt.
Yeah, like you legitly have both Denzel, pretty masculine, chest out, shirtless, right? And then of course you got butt and a whole lot more.
Crow is showing everything but dong in this movie.
Like
lots
in a samurai pose.
Lots of long looks at Crow's butt.
Yeah,
while he's doing his the Die Hard 2 knife dance.
And it doesn't quite go the nudity, but you still get scantily clad women as well. Like it's going for that too. Like there's a whole lot of skin in this movie.
They're in fine shape, but neither of the dudes are what I would call yoked up.
No, they're not like steroid users for sure. But they're muscular.
They brought the beef. So I gave it a 6.
That's exactly what I gave it.
Look at us.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so back to the movie. Miscellaneous stuff. Oh, I loved the little beginning. One who is a samurai must, before all things, keep constantly in mind, by day and by night, the fact that he has to die. Oh, all right then.
The accepting fate kind of stuff.
Kind of feel like we should have had like a ninja one to give the yin to the yang. But all right, fine.
Good point.
All right, I already covered the dumb sword move. So this movie, I had nothing else then. This movie had a budget of $20 to $25 million. I've seen it both listed as both. So it was a little over $40-50 million today. And it had a worldwide gross of $6.6 million.
Wait, how much was the expense?
The budget was 20 to 25, and it brought in 6.6. Yeah, not great.
So they really thought this was going for something?
I don't know. It's just
Like Lambert wasn't a draw at this point. Was he ever really a big draw to begin with? So I don't get it.
Star of 3.5 Highlander movies. How dare you? Lambert was a guy. But they did release it in February, so they weren't expecting huge things. But
right, February is definitely famous.
I will grant you 20 to 25 feels a little high for this kind of movie, especially since they filmed it in Vancouver. It debuted.
Yeah, I was surprised when I read like a lot of the exterior bullet train stuff is Canada, Vancouver. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I'm actually impressed because that one I didn't think.
Canadians got some fun trains, Tim.
Yeah, I guess so. We're the only poor schmucks without cool trains.
Pretty much. Debuted at number 5 in its debut weekend. Number 1 was the Brady Bunch movie in its second weekend of release.
I like that movie.
Me too. The other debut that week was The Walking Dead, which came out at number 9. It was a black cast Vietnam War movie, which I'd never seen before.
Never heard it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we watching next week, Tim? Oh,
Desperado.
Desperado.
Oh, did you gotta go that way? Okay.
Yeah, I regret it immediately.
What is funny is like I thought about doing it that way, and I was like, no, he's gonna mock me. And
I do hate the Eagles like with a fiery passion.
That's why I was shocked that you went there.
I'll be taking a Silkwood shower after this. But yeah, no, I love this movie to death.
I love Desperado. Woo! I haven't seen it in a really long freaking time.
It has not been that long for me, and you know what?
Really?
Holds up. Oh boy, is Antonio Banderas a fucking movie star in this thing?
I mean, it's kind of insane because like the two leads is Antonio Banderas and Selma Hayek.
Who is she ever a star to?
Like, oh my gosh.
Do you remember who the villain is?
No, it's been so long.
I don't know if I want to tell you.
Let it be a surprise. Let it be a surprise. Let it wash over me because I'm excited, and I think it's streaming. I think you said was it Paramount Plus? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paramount Plus. So yeah, man, I don't know why.
So excited by the amount of talent in this movie. Like, oh.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good. This is everything I want in an action movie is Desperado. It is so good. It is an all-timer for me.
It's definitely been a long time, and I don't know what's kept me so long from revisiting. So I'm excited.
You're gonna be happy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Anything else?
That's it, man.
All right. Well, then that is it for us. Please share your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. I don't even know what Google Play Music is. Have you ever used that? No? All right. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Piggies.
Piggies.